Did you know that the Blade reboot starring Mahershala Ali has gone through 6 different writers and lost 2 directors in just 5 years? Or that Wesley Snipes was reportedly so difficult on the set of Blade Trinity that he would only communicate with director David Goyer through post-it notes signed Blade? The once groundbreaking vampire franchise that helped launch the modern superhero movie era has been stuck in development hell for so long that its star is now 50 years old and might never get the chance to don the iconic sunglasses again. What's particularly shocking is that this catastrophic state of affairs follows what was once one of Marvel's most successful film adaptations, a franchise that predates the MCU by a decade and proved comic book movies could be profitable R-rated ventures. When Blade first sliced onto screens in 1998, it grossed $131 million on a modest $45 million budget, and helped resurrect the vampire genre for a new generation, all while featuring a black lead superhero years before Black Panther was even a consideration. So before we dive into exactly what went so catastrophically wrong with the Blade franchise and how it descended from trailblazing innovator to cautionary tale, a real quick ask that if you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, please take a second to hit that subscribe button now. It's one small click for you, but a huge deal for us. Now let's unsheath and figure out what went wrong with the Blade franchise. Reason number 1, the original trilogy's declining quality. The seeds of the Blade franchise's downfall were planted long before the current MCU troubles. Though the original film was a genre-defining success in 1998, the quality of the trilogy declined sharply with each subsequent entry. The first film, directed by Stephen Norrington, struck the perfect balance between horror and action. Wesley Snipes embodied the Daywalker with a cool charisma that made him instantly iconic, and the film's practical effects and fight choreography helped it earn an impressive 58% on Rotten Tomatoes, really high for a comic book movie in the late 90s. The $131 million box office take on a $45 million budget proved there was an audience hungry for this kind of dark superhero fare. Blade 2 actually improved on some elements of the original, with horror maestro Guillermo del Toro bringing his unique visual style to create a sequel that many consider equal to or better than the first. The film performed even better financially, earning $155 million worldwide, but beneath the surface, problems were brewing. By the time Blade Trinity arrived in 2004, the franchise was in serious trouble. David S. Goyer, who had written the previous films, stepped into the director's chair with disastrous results. The film earned a dismal 24% on Rotten Tomatoes, with critics and fans alike condemning its tonal inconsistency, weak villain, and the sidelining of Blade himself in favor of new characters played by Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel. Reason number 2, Wesley Snipes' on-set behavior. Perhaps the most infamous aspect of the Blade franchise's demise was the behind-the-scenes drama during the making of Blade Trinity, specifically involving star Wesley Snipes. According to multiple sources, including co-star Patton Oswalt, Snipes' behavior on the set of Trinity was extraordinarily difficult. Oswalt claimed that Snipes would only communicate with the director through post-it notes that he signed Blade, and would often refuse to come out of his trailer except to shoot close-ups. The situation allegedly became so tense that at one point, Snipes allegedly tried to strangle Goyer during a dispute. While Snipes has denied these claims, calling them absurd, Goyer himself has never refuted the stories and has openly stated that his friendship with Snipes ended during that production. This on-set tension had a direct impact on the film itself. Ryan Reynolds reportedly had to improvise many of his lines because Snipes was often absent from the set, and the movie's structure had to be reworked to accommodate Snipes' limited availability. What should have been Blade's movie became more of an ensemble piece focused on the Night Stalkers, a decision that further alienated fans who had come to see the Daywalker, not his supporting characters. The troubled production of Blade Trinity effectively killed the original trilogy, though it made a modest profit. The behind-the-scenes drama and poor critical reception made any potential fourth film with Snipes an impossibility. A short-lived Spike TV series attempted to continue the story in 2006, with rapper Kirk Sticky Fingers Jones taking over the lead role, but it was cancelled after just 1 season, and the rights to the character eventually reverted to Marvel Studios in 2012. Reason number 3, the MCU reboot's endless development issues. When Marvel Studios announced at San Diego Comic-Con in 2019 that 2-time Oscar winner Mahershala Ali would star in a Blade reboot, fans were ecstatic. Here was a perfect casting choice to revitalize a beloved character for a new era. But what should have been a triumphant return has instead become one of the most troubled production in Marvel's history. The development troubles began almost immediately. It took Marvel nearly 2 years after the initial announcement to hire their first writer, Stacey Osei-Kuffour, known for her work on HBO's Watchmen series. By late 2021, director Bassem Tariq had joined the project, and Marvel set an ambitious release date of November 3, 2023. But just 2 months before production was set to begin, disaster struck. Tariq left the project over creative differences, forcing Marvel to delay the film and find a new director. Writer Beau DeMayo was brought in for a complete script overhaul, and in the fall of 2022, new hope emerged when Ali personally selected director Yann Demanga to helm the film. The revolving door of creative talent continued as writer Michael Starbury was paired with Demanga, but his involvement didn't last long. He was replaced in spring 2023 by Nick Pizzolatto, creator of True Detective. Then the Hollywood strikes hit, causing even more delays and leading to supporting cast members Delroy Lindo and Aaron Pierre being released from their contracts. When the strikes ended in late 2023, Marvel hired yet another writer, Michael Green, to fix the script's issues, which reportedly relegated Blade to a 4th lead character in his own movie, an absurd situation considering they had a 2-time Oscar winner as their star. A new release date was set for November 7th, 2025. But by the summer of 2024, Demanga had also exited the project, marking the second director to leave. Reason number 4. Creative confusion and misguided concepts. One of the most baffling aspects of the Blade reboot's troubled journey has been the wildly inconsistent creative vision behind it. Rather than building on what worked in the original films, Marvel Studios has reportedly pursued bizarre concepts that fundamentally misunderstand the character. According to industry reports, one draft of the script would have set the entire film in the 1920s as a period piece, completely removing Blade from the modern MCU setting where he could interact with other characters. While period settings can work for certain characters, Blade's identity as an urban hunter navigating a contemporary world of hidden vampires is kind of central to his appeal. Even more alarming were reports from Variety that one version of the script would have relegated Blade to a 4th lead character in his own movie, with the story morphing into a completely different narrative filled with life issues. As one insider described it, the script had transformed from a vampire action film into something entirely different that barely resembled the characters fans had come to love. Reason number 5. Shifting priorities at Marvel Studios. The Blade reboot's troubles don't exist in a vacuum. They reflect larger issues within Marvel Studios that have affected many of their recent projects. Since Avengers Endgame concluded the Infinity Saga in 2019, Marvel has struggled to recapture the cohesive narrative and consistent quality that defined its earlier phases. Films like The Marvels severely underperformed at the box office, while Disney Plus shows have received mixed receptions from audiences and critics alike. Reason number 6. The R-rating dilemma. One of the most significant challenges facing the Blade reboot is the question of its rating. The original trilogy thrived as R-rated films that didn't shy away from graphic violence and adult themes, but the MCU has historically operated within the boundaries of PG-13. When the reboot was first announced, it wasn't clear whether Marvel would allow the character to retain his R-rated edge or attempt to sanitize him for younger audiences. This uncertainty likely contributed to the constant script revisions, as writers struggled to find the right balance between honoring the character's bloody origins and fitting him into a family-friendly MCU. The massive success of Deadpool and Wolverine, the MCU's first true R-rated entry, may have finally convinced Marvel that mature content can work within their universe, but this realization seems to have come too late for Blade, which had already gone through multiple iterations trying to solve this tonal puzzle. Reason number 7. The changing landscape of vampire media. When the original Blade was released in 1998, it revitalized vampire media for a new generation. But in the decades since, the vampire genre has gone through numerous evolutions, making it increasingly difficult for a new Blade film to feel fresh or relevant. In the early 2000s, vampires underwent a dramatic transformation in popular culture. The romantic, brooding vampires of Twilight and True Blood represented a complete departure from the monstrous creatures Blade hunted. Later shows like What We Do in the Shadows took a comedic approach to vampire lore, giving us a new twist. By the time Marvel regained the rights to Blade in 2012, audiences had been inundated with every possible take on vampires. This oversaturation presented a unique challenge. How could a new Blade film distinguish itself in a landscape where vampires had been reimagined countless times? Furthermore, Blade has inspired numerous imitations over the years. Films like Underworld and Resident Evil borrowed heavily from the aesthetic and tone that Blade pioneered, potentially making a faithful adaptation seem derivative of the very works it influenced. But hey, that's just our opinion. What do you think? Should Marvel continue trying to make the Blade reboot work, or should they let Wesley Snipes' iconic portrayal stand as the definitive version? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into cinema's greatest franchises and missteps. This video was made by movie fans, for movie fans.